They thought the dog was becoming jealous of the toddler. He wasn't jealous. He was the only one in the house who knew what was about to happen. The Brennan family had owned their 5-year-old Labrador mix, Tank, since before their daughter Nora was born. He was a large, steady dog who had absorbed the arrival of a toddler with the calm of an animal that had already decided how things would be arranged. He slept near Nora's room. He followed her from kitchen to living room to back porch without drama or instruction. He was, in the language of the family's pediatrician, a well-integrated household dog. He began the new behavior on a Monday. Nora was 2.5, at the height of the phase where she ran everywhere and fell frequently and got up without requiring assistance. She was running across the living room when Tank moved in front of her. Not quickly, deliberately. He put himself in her path, and she ran into him, and she sat down hard and began to cry. Her mother, Siobhan, pulled Tank away. Nora got up and ran again. Tank moved in front of her a second time. Siobhan said, "He's jealous. He wants the attention she's getting." She was a physical therapist. She had a clinical read of bodies in motion and bodies at rest. She applied that read to Tank, and it told her competition behavior, insertion into the child's activity. Classic. She was wrong. It happened again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Each time, Nora ran across the living room. Tank moved into her path. Not playfully. He wasn't in play posture. He was placing himself with a specific intentionality that Siobhan recognized as directed, not random, and still classified as behavioral. On Friday, her husband, Cormac, watched from the kitchen doorway. He said, "He's not watching her when he does it. He's watching the rug." Siobhan said, "What?" Cormac said, "When he moves in front of her, he's looking at the rug, not at Nora, at the floor in front of where she's running." She went to the living room. She looked at the rug. It was their usual large area rug, cream-colored, slightly worn at the center traffic path. She pressed her hand across the surface. At the far edge, where the rug met the hardwood, the backing had separated from the weave on one corner. A bubble. A raised section approximately 2 inches high, invisible against the cream pile, unless you were pressing the surface or at floor level, looking across it. Nora ran across the room 4 or 5 times a day. The corner was directly in her path. Subscribe now before the next sentence. Because what Siobhan found when she pulled the corner back and what the floor underneath showed is something she did not connect to Tank's behavior until Cormac said he was stopping her from the rug, not from running. The hardwood beneath the bubble was damaged. A water stain, old and dark, had warped the board beneath that corner of the rug. The board had lifted slightly at the edge, not dramatically, but enough that the rug bubble had a hard lip underneath it. A running toddler catching her foot on that edge at full speed would not simply sit down. She would go forward. Siobhan, who spent her professional life assessing fall risk and impact mechanics, stood in the living room and understood what Tank had been doing for 5 days. He could see the rug at floor level. She could not see it at standing height. He had been stopping Nora from reaching the corner, not from running. Dr. Amara Osei, their pediatrician, said at Nora's next appointment, "Large breed dogs have excellent low-angle peripheral vision and strong spatial memory for floor surfaces. A raised rug edge is exactly the kind of tripping hazard that reads at a dog's visual field and is invisible to an adult. What you're describing, a dog stopping a child from a specific floor area rather than from the activity generally, is consistent with hazard identification behavior, not behavioral competition. She looked at Siobhan's notes. A physical therapist who works in fall prevention, she said. And the dog caught it first. Has your dog ever consistently blocked your child from a specific path or area in a way that turned out to have a physical reason? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. The rug corner was repaired. The floorboard was fixed. Nora runs across the living room every day. Tank watches from his spot by the window, without intervening. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Siobhan did not apologize to Tank for pulling him away on Monday. She thought about it. She decided instead to stop assuming she had the best view of the floor. He was already looking at it. He had been looking at it the whole time. Next, the woman whose dog pressed his face to hers every morning before she ate, and what the blood test confirmed about what he had been smelling on her breath for 3 weeks.